So I think there's this big misconception that manifestation is like, you want it, you've got it. Like Ariana Grande song. That's where the confusion comes from, because then everyone's like, well, I want to be a millionaire.
Hello and welcome back to Peas in a Pod with me, Charley Marlowe. It's the Primark show where we talk all things wellness. And today, we're only talking about manifestation. We've got manifestation coach, Leela Sule. Hello and welcome.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Oh, thanks for coming on, love. I'm excited for you to be here. You have created Get Up and Grow Girl, revolutionising self-development in mind, body and business for women in the 20s. Good girl. I've only got one question. How did you get into manifestation and how is it now your career?
I love that intro. I feel like the universe does this thing when it wants you to realise something, where it will nudge you, and if you don't get it, it will slap you. And it will just make it really, really hard not to look at the thing that you need to look at.
Yeah.
And for me, that was in the pandemic. Mm-hmm. And I had this kind of spiritual breakthrough where everything just went wrong, as it did for like pretty much everyone during that time. But I was working on my goals and I was trying to achieve like my business goals as a personal trainer. And I'd been doing not very good for a long time. And then just in 2020, I started doing really good. And I was achieving all my goals and I was like, we're doing it, like it's happening.
Stunning.
And then obviously the pandemic happened. And
not so stunning. Not great.
And my business just got shut down overnight. We couldn't work if you were in the gym. And so I was basically kind of jobless. All my money, like my income was gone. We didn't really know what we were going to do. And I ended up going back to live with my parents because we didn't know how long it was going to be. So I'm in my parents' house, I've got no job, I've got no money, and I've got no hope. And I think when you're in a place like that, you kind of get forced to like believe in something more, or you have to find hope somehow. So that's when I became from very, very logical, very spiritual. And so I took all the coaching that I was already doing as a life coach and a personal trainer, and manifestation entered the room.
I love that.
And that's kind of what got me on the path of woo-woo.
Woo. No, because that's really important, because there's like a lot of kind of confusion and like people are getting the term wrong. People think he's a bit arty-farty, lily-la-la. They don't really get what manifestation means. What does it mean to you?
So I think there's this big misconception that manifestation is like, you want it, you've got it. Like Ariana Grande song.
Yeah.
That's where the confusion comes from, because then everyone's like, well, I want to be a millionaire and I'm not a millionaire.
Yeah.
So it can't be, it's not true. It doesn't work. But manifestation is not about getting what you want. It's about getting what you are. You don't just get what you want, you get what you embody, I would say.
Uno or a verse. God, Osa. Tell me more. So like, what's the actual practice of like manifestation? And how do you kind of, if you were a starter, how would you begin that journey?
Say you want to be like a millionaire business owner.
Yeah.
Are you being the person who can create that? So are you putting yourself out there with your business consistently? Like even when you feel like you're not getting anywhere, even when it's really hard, even when, you know, maybe your motivation is low and it feels like no one cares what you're doing. Are you still willing to do that? Are you like getting over the fear of being judged? If you're embodying that, then you're doing your part of manifestation.
Yeah.
Or if you want to manifest a relationship, are you willing to put yourself out there and be open and be vulnerable?
I'm learning so much. I love it. Right, you've got a master in science. Good for you. Well done.
Thank you.
How has that affected the way you view spirituality?
I think it's why I see it really holistically. And like, I love all the woo-woo stuff, but I also love science and I love like understanding things in a very logical way. So I think that's why I've been able to get people who might be like, what is manifestation?
Yeah.
To kind of open up to it a bit more.
Right. What techniques do you use to channel positivity, and how important is positivity to living your everyday life?
So it is very important. And I do like make it the main thing I do every morning is wake up and decide to get into that mindset. And I like read my affirmations, which are basically my rules for life. So like, this is who I am, this is how my life is. Say it like it's true. And then it does become true.
Do you say it out loud?
Yes. So I always do that, because otherwise you can wake up and then you just go with what the day has, and something bad, a little bit annoying might happen. And then you're in that mindset of like, today's going to be a bad day, and it's going to become a bad day because you're looking at life through that lens. You might get on a train and the train was late.
Yeah.
But if you've decided you're such a lucky girl, you might not even notice that, and it might not bother you.
Right. So when you say a better world that starts with a better self, what are you encouraging here?
I think that manifestation can sometimes get a bit of a reputation for being a selfish thing. And it's all about self-serving and what do I want, which it is about thinking about what you want to create in your life.
Yeah.
But it has this ripple effect, because anything you want to manifest, as I said, it's not what you want, it's what you embody. So to achieve any goal, it's more about becoming a different version of yourself, like a higher version, still you, but better.
Yeah.
And so manifestation is really about healing. It's about letting go of all the things that make you think you can't have what you want. You're maybe not good enough, or you're not special enough, or the world isn't a place where there's enough opportunities. When you let go of all of that, you become a more open version of yourself. You become a better version of yourself. We call it in manifestation higher self. So you've got like your ego, which is the little inner child, and then you've got who's like maybe doesn't feel good enough and is like scared and has all these fears. And then the higher self is like this confident, anything is possible, more loving, open self.
Yeah.
So in manifestation, anything you're achieving, you're becoming that higher version. So you're healing your insecurities, your fears. And when you do that, you actually become a better person, and you kind of create this ripple effect where you'll be nicer, you'll be kinder, you'll be more generous, because you don't feel like you're in competition. You feel like we call it abundant, like open, giving, generous, loving.
That. That's such a nice thing. Right, so what would you say the biggest plus to meditating is? I actually want to know more about this, because I don't know really anything about meditating.
So this is like sciencey stuff I think will make people meditate more, because you think it's like clearing your mind and that you have to just sit and go to like a special dimension, which so many people can't do. Like you can't just sit.
I was going to say, I never get there. I don't know where it is on Google Maps.
Neither do I. I tried that for ages and I got frustrated. You know, when you're sitting there thinking, why is my mind not clear? Why is my mind not clear? And then it's not relaxing. It's just stressful.
Yeah.
Actually, it's for your body, not your mind. Because if you think about like when you're sleeping, your mind is gone. It's like, it's clear. But you're tossing and turning, or I know I am, like can't sleep in one position.
Magnesium. Lifesaver. You'll love it.
Yeah, your body is active, but your mind is, you've gone into your unconscious mind. When you're meditating, your mind is quite active, but your body's just still. You're sitting in one place. So what you're doing is actually for your nervous system, which affects your stress and all things like that. So as I was saying about like higher self, and when you manifest, you're trying to act in a way that's more grounded and that's more abundant, and you're trying to take steps that are going to create what you want. You're being very conscious. So if you're highly stressed, you're more reactive. You're just going to quickly react and do something rather than take your time to just think, how can I respond in a way that's going to create the outcome that I want? So if you meditate, it makes you more grounded and able to move in the way that is going to manifest the goal that you have.
That's brilliant, because it's so easy to forget, like your mind and body are literally connected. I think we're so kind of dismissive sometimes of the body. It's like, I'll go to the gym, whatever. And then you forget to kind of like just calm everything down, just take it a little bit slower. I think we're in a proper hustle, like what you're doing, go on, don't culture. And it's like, whoa, just hang on a minute. And just like kind of connect the two and just ground yourself.
And when you're in a highly stressed state, you're not really very inspired or creative. Like it's literally two different modes. You've got survival mode, which is just please keep me alive. Like just let my body do its thing. Let me breathe. Then you've got, manifestation mode, I call it, which is where everything in your body is good. Like you're breathing, your heart's beating at the right speed, all your hormones are doing its thing. So then you have extra energy to use for having like a really inspired idea that you might go and do, and then you're gonna manifest your dream business, or you're gonna have that creative download that can lead you to something really cool. Just be still and don't worry about what your mind's doing, and you will get the benefits.
No, because every yoga session I'm just sat there like, what am I having for me tea? Like, I need to go to the shops.
That's okay, think about that.
Now, what was the most powerful example of manifesting that came to life for you? This is a good one.
I have a story for you.
Oh, go on.
So my boyfriend and I moved to Trinidad about 1.5 years ago.
Wow.
And we were like, this is a big goal, and like, yay. I was going fully online in my business, so that meant I could move across the world.
Brilliant.
And he had gone there to work on a business that he'd started. So we thought, like, our dreams are manifesting, it's amazing. And then we got there and kind of landed with a bang, a bad bang.
Turbulence. Does you mean?
In that, when we got there, my boyfriend's business partner took us to this house, put us there, but then just kind of left us there. And we just were there like, we don't know what's going on. The business wasn't really going well. It didn't seem like anything was happening. And we literally just got left there. And it later came out that he had scammed my partner.
Stop, I hate this.
Yes. The business was non-existent. It was a mess. And all my partner's money had been scammed away from him. So we were in this new country to start our new life, and everything's a hot mess, basically. So we kind of made the best of it for a few months and just did what we could. And we kind of still enjoyed it because it was this new exciting thing, and we were trying to be positive. But it got to a point where I was like, okay, I don't like living in this empty house. We didn't have anything, a sofa, a fridge, nothing. And I don't know how long this is going to go on for. And I was like crying, and I was like having a sad girl day. And then I was journaling, and I was like, I just wish we could live on the beach. And we weren't living in a space where I could kind of go and do anything by myself. It wasn't a safe area. Like, I could just go and walk around. I just was dreaming of this beach lifestyle because we were in the middle of the city. Less than a month later, my partner's gone to the neighbouring island for an interview. And I get a knock on the door, and this man is at the door, and he's saying, hi, the person who put you here, the business partner, do you know where he is? And I was like, I don't know, but he owns this property. And he said, no, I own this property, and the rent hasn't been paid in like months.
Oh.
So it just keeps getting worse and worse. And I'm thinking, okay, what are we going to do? And then my boyfriend calls me to say he's at this interview. Not only have they offered him a job, but they want us to move to this other island, live in a beachfront resort, and that everything will be covered, our food, our drinks, our accommodation. So less than a month after I wrote this in my journal, having no idea how, we actually manifested living on the beach for free with everything covered, better than I could have like imagined it.
Get in.
The day that we would have otherwise been in a bit of a mess. And I do believe in manifestation, sometimes everything will be taken away. It's kind of like clearing space. There's this thing called like the law of sacrifice, that if you want a new car, we need space in your garage for that car to come in.
Yeah.
So if you sell the car, then you have space for the new car. So it's kind of like everything that my partner had been planning, the business, it all went south. But then it made space for this new thing where he would get a dream job for him, and we'd get to live on the beach, and we'd have all of this included, which wouldn't have happened if all the bad stuff hadn't happened.
Yeah. I feel like that is like the best advice, isn't it? Because it's everything bad that happens, and then you look back and you're like, oh, it wasn't actually that bad because then this happened. And you're like, but at the time you're like, I'm going to cry.
It's like that space in between where the thing you wanted is gone and the thing you could have next isn't there yet. So you're just in no man's land, like, what's going on?
It's a hard thing to do, isn't it? But I feel like it really does pay off.
Yeah.
That's brilliant. Yeah. I've got to ask, if you've got one piece of advice from manifestors out there, just anything to do with manifestation, what would it be?
I think like my one rule, the easy thing to just ask yourself every day is like, the thing that I want to attract, am I embodying it? Am I a match for it? I think that like one simple thing, if you ask yourself that every day, you start to move differently, you start to behave differently, you start to make different choices.
You really hold yourself accountable if you ask that.
Yeah.
It's brilliant.
And when you make different choices, of course, your life is going to catch up.
I know, because I seen an interview the other day and it was like, you know, I'm all for, you know, kind of being kind to ourselves, like, go on, have the biscuit. But it's also, hang on, let me do a bit of tough love here. And let me really just kind of assess the choices I'm making and what I'm doing. So I love that.
Yeah, it's the balance.
Leela, you're the absolute best. Thank you so much for coming on Pacing a Pod. I've had a blast. You had a nice time.
Thank you so much. I've loved it. I've loved every second.
Thank you so much.
Thanks.